The surron, talaria, eride, sigma, all of these are eMotos, and they are truly fantastic machines that have gained a ton of popularity. And it seems like every few months a new eMoto hits the market that has even more power, a bigger battery, and a higher price tag. And this is why I'm a huge fan of mini eMotos. In a lot of cases, they are very similar in terms of riding experience to full-size eMotos, but they're just a lot more practical. They're smaller, more inconspicuous to both ride on the road and when it comes to storage. If you live in an apartment and you don't have access to a garage, you're going to have a big issue if you buy a 200-pound full-size eMoto. So they do have lots of advantages, but the biggest has to be the price tag. These are way more affordable than their premium flagship models, sometimes even being half the price. So I just find them really cool, and I wanted to talk about them today because I noticed a brand new eMoto just came online that I think is a very compelling deal. And it's the rawrr Mantis R, which is essentially a new mini version of the bike I'm on right now. And just like with most mini versions, the frame, the overall design is almost identical, but it comes with smaller wheels. Either a 14 in the front, 12 in the rear, or a slightly more unique 17 in the front, 14 in the back. And again, if you live in an apartment and you have to bring this thing inside, these smaller wheels is going to make a very big impact on storage. Now, in terms of the specifications, I was shocked to see that this comes with a 72-volt battery. It is somewhat small at 20 amp hours, but the price tag for this bike is just $2,500. And the motor power is rated at 4.5 kilowatts. That is somewhat low. I think 5 kilowatts should have been the target for this product, but you should keep in mind that the weight of this bike is only 111 pounds. That's about 50 pounds lighter than most full-size eMotos, so the acceleration, the range, should be positively impacted by that. And altogether, I gotta say, I think this package, $2,500, 72-volt battery, super lightweight at 111 pounds, is a very awesome product. And to prove this, I can give you guys some other points of comparison. So this right here is the eride Mini, another fantastic option. This comes in at $3,000. Still very affordable, but it is more expensive than the Mantis R. This has a little bit more power at 6 kilowatts. However, the battery is only 60 volts, 30 amp hours. And to me, a 60 volt battery versus a 72 volt battery is a huge difference, but the bike does weigh a little bit less at 107 pounds. We also have the surron Hyper-B. This is $2,800, and this is super lightweight at only 86 pounds. 5 kilowatts of power, but the battery is only 50 volts, 25 amp hours. I think the only bike that can really compete with this new Mantis R is the ETM Mini. Again, it is more expensive at $3,000. However, it does pack a comparable 72 volt battery, 25 amp hours. It also delivers a bit more power at 8 kilowatts, but at the same time, it's also more heavy at 130 pounds. But I think all in all, if I was looking to buy a practical, affordable, yet still high-performance bike, something like the ETM Mini or the new Mantis R, I think would certainly be my first choice versus a more expensive, less practical, often overkill, full-size eMoto. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below.